It is October 28th, 2024. And yes, I broke my glasses again. But we got bigger problems than that, don't we, dudes? We are a little more than a week away from November 5th, the final day to cast your vote in this crazy-ass election. Like, how did we even get here? You know, my head spins sometimes thinking about it, dudes. We've got Trump running, and we've got Kamala Harris running. It's so difficult for me to wrap my head around the Democrat Party's decision to put her at the front. There's an answer, dudes. I'm going to share with you what I think the answer is. But, you know, they didn't even give their voters a primary to select their next candidate. They just picked Biden. They're like, he's running. You're stuck with it. That's how the Democrat Party views democracy these days. We're just going to pick for you. You're too stupid to pick the right person. And then when he shit the bed in one debate, they put Kamala Harris up there, and she's been shitting the bed in every single damn debate since the first one. And it turns out that the first one, she was given all the questions in advance and guaranteed that they weren't going to fact check her. The Democrat Party has been fucking hijacked by progressives, people. By radicals, man. If you're a Democrat, you should be pissed. And worried. It's just crazy. It's freaking bonkers, dudes. Like, for the first time in my life, I can say that I have no confidence that my vote is going to be counted. I have no confidence that there's going to be a peaceful exchange of power if Trump wins. Because it looks like he's probably going to win right now. I've never felt like this around an election. Never. Never in my life. Not even close, dudes. And I feel like the possibility of a Black Swan event or 3 flipping things on their head, I feel like it could happen. We even have dirty, nasty-ass politicians that are letting us know what their plan is, like Congressman Jamie Raskin. I posted a video not too long ago, dudes, of him talking about it. Their plan, just in case you didn't watch it, is to let everyone cast their votes, wait till January 6th, try to use the 14th Amendment, declare Trump ineligible to be president, prepare for civil war conditions, his words, not mine, and put body coverage, meaning protectors. I used to work in the field. I know what he's talking about. Put body coverage on people like him, people that need it, and fight it out. That's their plan, man. And check this out, dudes. I got this on good authority. There's an organization called the New Press. It is a left-wing publishing house. And they have an event on the calendar for mid-November where Congressman Jamie Raskin is going to address, and I quote, a time of chaos and confusion. It's already on the fucking calendar, guys. They are selling tickets to the event. So what does that tell you? I know what it tells me is that I can expect some chaos to occur around this election, or else why would they be addressing a time of chaos and confusion? So are we going to see some Black Swan events? I think that the probability is extraordinarily high, dudes. So I'm going to share with you guys my thoughts on it. I want your thoughts down below as well. It's always a conversation on this channel, pimps. So join the convo in the comment section. But I'm going to share my thoughts, how I think we should look at this, and what I'm doing to punch that preparedness card in the next week. Here's my thoughts on it. Like, does the actual Black Swan event matter as much as the way that the government responds? Sometimes. Let's say that, they're counting up all the votes with these electronic counting machines. Because, this takes days and weeks to get it done in America. It's like there's third world countries that vote on paper ballots and they have every single vote counted in like 9 hours. And we can't count our votes in weeks. Getting some red flags there. Big, big red flags for me. To me, it says they're either completely incompetent and have no business running this part of the show, or they're up to no good. It's like that first assassination attempt on Trump, man. The Secret Service either was incompetent, negligent, or let that shit happen. I mean, it's like slapping us in the face that that's what's going on. My 14-year-old son can see it. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like we're in a place where we could see some very serious Black Swan events occur, right? Or else why would they be addressing a time of chaos and confusion? So what are the possible Black Swan events? And I'll be honest, dudes, I don't feel like the event itself is as important as the government's response to it. I'm not going to say that that's the case every single time, right? Like, let's say the count's going on. We're like a week and a half into counting votes with freaking electronic voting machines, and all of a sudden the power goes out. What if the power goes out in the battleground states? Wow, and they can bring in their own people and have them count the votes by hand. What if the power goes out in historically blue counties that look like they're going to flip-flop red? Wow, what a coincidence. So power outages might be one of the possible Black Swan events. You know what I'm saying, dudes? So here's what I think that all of us should be doing, really. We should be taking a look at our own situation. We should be coming up with the Black Swan events that we feel are most likely. It could be another assassination attempt on Trump that's successful this time, or maybe isn't. But a successful one would definitely create some waves. It could be people rioting. It could be people posing as MAGA people, shooting up specific targets. Them filming it, putting it on TV, and as a response, declaring martial law. Like, who knows exactly what it's going to be? But what I've done for myself and my family is I've thought about it, and I've thought about possible responses, and came up with the 3 biggest things I think that we're likely to have to deal with around this election. And those 3 things for me are power outages, martial law, and supply chain breakdowns. I'm not worried about riots. I live way out in the boonies. The closest big city to me has a population of 35,000 people and is an hour away. So I just don't even really see riots kicking off there. Just not something I'm really worried about. But those other 3 definitely seem like things I might have to deal with. So what cards am I punching as a prepper? Well, I'm going through everything this week and checking it all. And boy, am I glad that I did, pimps. To be honest with you, we have a big generator out here that runs everything on the ranch, including the one of the well pumps, power to all the buildings, all that kinds of stuff. Started digging into it to just, run half a gallon through it, fire it up, make sure everything's good to go. And a mouse got into the air filter, chewed it up, chewed a hole through the wire, got into the carburetor, and chewed some shit up in there and around the control panel. So the starter won't even kick on. I think the switch might have been chewed up a little bit from behind. I'm kind of waiting for the rainy weather to end here, which it should be ending soon, probably by the time I'm done with this video, to get back in there and take a look at it. But good thing I'm looking at it now. Right, dudes? Could you imagine some big Black Swan event kicks off and Chinese hackers hack our power grid and shut down battleground states? Not saying I'm in one, but what if I am? And all of a sudden I have no power and I go to fire that bitch up and it doesn't work. And maybe I need to replace the starter. Maybe the starter went bad. And now I got to go to town and I got to deal with whatever other shit might be going on, possible responses to a Black Swan event, right? What if martial law gets declared and I got to drive into town and now they're checking my license and they're like, oh, you're on a list because once upon a time you had a "Don't Tread on Me" sticker on the back of your truck. Excuse me, sir. We're going to have to ask you to pull over the side of the road so we can search your vehicle. You know what I mean, pimps? So I'm punching the card, dudes. I'm going around, I'm checking all my shit. I'm making sure all my gas is full. And that's not the only generator that we have on the property. So we're checking the other generators. We're firing everything up, making sure it's all good to go. Everything we might need to keep things cracking when it comes to a power outage, we're double checking it all. The show must go on, pimps. My solar as well, the solar stuff I used to travel with. I'm going to go ahead and get my panel hooked up to the inverter and some spare batteries I have out here just to test run it, make sure it's all good to go. Martial law is another one of the big possibilities for me out here, something I might have to deal with. And luckily for me, being this far from anything that resembles civilization, I think it'll have a minimal effect. But personally, my thoughts on it are avoid it. You know, I don't want to go to town anymore. If martial law kicks off, that town of 35,000 people that's an hour away from me ends up filled with state National Guard troops, I'm just not going. I'm not going, dudes. I don't need to go. I have everything I need on the ranch to keep rocking it, and I'll just stop going to town. Let things kind of settle down, and then if I feel like I need to make a town run happen, I'll get it done. But is the situation the same for you? You know what I'm saying, dudes? If it's not, you need to think about that. I'm sure a lot of you guys remember about 4 years ago when that crazy thing from China got over here. Shit went kind of crazy. People were buying up shit paper like it's going out of style, man, because they'd rather die with a clean crack than have food to stuff in their pie holes. Well, I saw the cops out in front of a lot of supermarkets, dudes. And if we see ourselves in a situation where we've got martial law, man, it is going to be that times 100, especially in the opening weeks. So I want you to think about that. What preparations can you make that are going to eliminate or limit your need to be outside of your house, to be away from your property? The next one for me is supply chain breakdowns. Now, again, being where I'm at and my current setup right now, I'm not really worried about it, but it's one of the things that will definitely affect my area. And so, do you have everything that you need? Because we can very rapidly in this country go from having shelves that are full to shelves that are empty. People that live in hurricane zones know this. I lived in hurricane zones for 4 years, dudes. I've been through a number of them. As a matter of fact, I actually jumped out of a C-130 into the eye of a dying hurricane back on Fort Bragg. All right, kind of a cool ass story. We're all getting loaded up on the plane, and we're like, there's no way they're going to give us a green light, man. We're going to fly around for a little bit, and we're going to go back and land. Nope. The eye went right over the drop zone. They dropped us. It was dead, man. Like I landed literally right on top of my rucksack. If you're a paratrooper, you know what I'm talking about, because I lowered it on my lowering line, and boom, feet right on the rucksack. And soon after I packed up my chute, boom, the wind hit us again. Like I said, it was a dying hurricane, so the winds were probably like 35, 40 miles an hour when it kicked back up. Nothing super crazy, but still a cool story. At any rate, dudes, things can change very, very quickly. And shit on the shelves can disappear. And not just the normal shit, guys. Think about it. A lot of the stuff that you buy is made in China. It's shipped over here. It's dropped off at ports. It's put on trucks, trains, and then it's brought to your local stores. When I was planning the rebuild for the engine in my F-250, I was on these forums, and a few years ago, people were talking about how they couldn't even get a cam because the bar stock, apparently, that gets milled into cams for motors, it's all produced in China and shipped over here. So the cam companies couldn't even produce any product. So not only is the stuff that you buy every single day and you stuff in your face every single day going to disappear, but so will the massive majority of everything else. So if there's anything you've had on the list, man, that you feel is critical to have before the SHTF possibly kicks off, now might be the time to drop the ducats on it. I think that's it, pimps. That's the message for today. And so comments down below, guys. What kind of black swan events do you guys think are the most likely to occur around this election? And I'm not just talking about the next 8 days, because we're really not out of the woods until we get to February, March. Fingers crossed, dudes. Fingers crossed that we can make it there without all this chaos and uncertainty that Congressman Jamie Raskin is going to address. So that's it, pimps. I'm going to wrap it right there. Make sure you like the video, share it, subscribe to the channel. Comments down below. Help us with that algorithm. Check out my Patreon link in the description. Dudes, I have probably 4 times as much video content on my Patreon as I do on my YouTube and TikTok combined. And the huge majority of that content is me addressing patron questions. So if you want to get some answers from this guy about your specific situation, that's where you hit me up about it. All right? That's it. Take care, guys. Get your stuff ready. I'm going to be praying for all of y'all and praying for this country. And I just hope we can make it through what's coming. All right? Take care.